For those of you that don't know me, I am a variety streamer on Twitch. I took a few months off. I'm getting back into it. And today I thought I'd start off with something a little different. Assembling a watch kit from DIY Watch Club. So let's take a look and see what they've sent us. I do want to point out I am not sponsored by DIY Watch Club. This is totally on my own dime. Alrighty, let's see. We have got... My puppy is under my desk chewing on wires. Finnegan, come on, come here. Get out of there. You know better. Oh, loud and clear. Perfect. Excellent. So we've got some odds and ends. We'll get back to those. We've got the watch itself, or the case for the watch. Let's get that opened up. And I should point out I have built one of these before. And I'm just gonna... I have built one of these before. This is what we're going to be building today. So there we go. That is the case for the watch we're going to be building today. Let's see. We've got... All of these boxes are unlabeled, so I guess we're starting off with an unboxing. I have a chapter ring there. And another one, so we have a choice of 2 different chapter rings. I have the watch face, or the watch dial there. So it's a white watch dial in this kit. Let's see. Some hands. In this case, some silver hands in this container. So it looks like an hour hand or 2, a couple of minute hands, and a second hand in here. I'm going to set that aside so it doesn't get lost. I think there should be a second set of hands in here as well. I went with 2 different ones because I couldn't decide what I wanted. Ooh, okay, that's the movement itself. So it's a Miyota movement in this kit with a date function. We'll go into more detail on that in a bit. Everything is very nicely packaged. I don't really see how anything could possibly get damaged in transit. Another chapter ring. This one is one that I had lying around from the last kit that I built. So I think we're going to set that one aside because it's the same as this one. It's black with white hash marks or white with black hash marks. And then I've got a few more little envelopes here. Let's see. This one is... Finnegan, get out from under my desk. Come here. Come here and say hello. This is the little stinker in question. He likes chewing on wires and generally being a pain in my butt. And I love him anyway. Because look at how cute he is. Alright, get over there. You're not allowed under my desk, and you know that. Okay, so now that we've paid the puppy tax, let's see here. So this was a red second hand. Yep, just an alternate style. We have a red second hand, should we decide to go with that. And we have that looks like a black second hand? Yes, we have a black second hand. So we have a few different choices for the second hand and a few different choices for the chapter ring. And we have a few different choices for the watch band itself. I like a leather band, so we have a choice of either black or tan for the bands. Set those aside for now. Get the puppy out from under my desk again. No, Finnegan, over there. Go find your buddy. Finn, I love you, but you can't be under my desk. Too many wires. Okay, we're gonna close the baby gate. Go lay down. Apologies. Finnegan is 4 months old. He's a very, very sweet little pupper, but he's a little bit single-minded when he's in my office. He likes to chew on things. All right, so let's begin the assembly. Actually, first I need the bag of goodies here. And I need a couple of finger cots. These are basically like little condoms for your finger. And they are so that you do not get oils from your skin onto your lovely new watch, especially onto its insides. They look ridiculous, but they work. Okay, so fingers appropriately contained. And let's get the movement opened up. And I have some tools here as well that I should grab. Let's put that aside for now. And do I have... I don't have a movement holder, do I? Alright. I don't know where my movement holder went. I'll have to do without. See if I can get this open without it flying across the room. And there we've got our movement. So it is a self-winding mechanical movement with a date function. You can see the counterweight there. That's what slings around. That's what makes an automatic movement automatic, for those of you that don't know. Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. So this counterweight slings around as you're walking, moving, puts a little bit of wind into the watch. Technically, if you've watched any videos on watchmaking at all, not an entirely necessary part. You could actually take that whole assembly out and you would just have a manually winding watch. So let's see, the movement holder is pre-installed. So the movement holder is this gray ring around the outside. This camera will probably pick it up better. If it'll focus, maybe. The movement holder is this gray ring around the outside. That's what makes this movement fit this watch body. So, all right, so the first thing we're going to want to do, I want to get a couple more finger cots for my other hand. First thing we're going to want to do is install the dial onto the movement. And in this particular case, I went with a white dial, personal preference. DIY Watch Club has them in, I think, 5 or 6 different colors for this model. And if you are interested in picking up one of these kits for yourself, use welcome code WELCOMEABOARD for 10% off your order. Let's get this opened up. Ooh, very nice. So there is our watch dial. There we go. Got a good shot of it there. Nice white dial. Got just a little bit of shine to it. Very nice. So now we want to install that onto the movement. So on the movement, I'm looking for the tiniest little holes that the feet on the back of the dial go into. There's 2 little metal pegs on there. And I'm looking for where they go on the watch dial. And they're kind of at the 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock position on the dial. So that's one of the, well, it doesn't really show up well on the camera, unfortunately. I don't necessarily have the best cameras for this, it seems. But I should be able to line this up. Oh, there we go, I got one in. Boom, give it a little bit of a squish. And just like that, we have our watch dial on our movement. Now, unfortunately, comes the part that I have the most trouble with. I did actually do one of these kits about a year ago. In fact, I'm wearing it now. I'll take it off so that I can show you a bit more clearly. I put together one of these kits about a year ago, and it took me quite a while. I'm going to take the band off just to make life a little easier. So this is here's one I built earlier, I suppose. This is the other kit that I built. This is their dive watch. I do really like it. Keeps time very well. This is based around a Seiko movement, and it does have a display back, which is very nice, so you can see the self-winding counterweight and some other parts of the movement in there. Very high quality kit. Certainly doesn't feel like something that's home built. I quite like it, highly recommend it. But it did take me quite a while to put the hands on when I built that. That was a very, very tricky part. It doesn't really come across just how tiny these components are, but that little stem in the middle, it's actually 3 different concentric axles. Oh crap. 3 different concentric axles, one for the hour hand, one for the minute hand, one for the second hand. And getting the second hand on is almost impossible given my not necessarily perfect eyesight. It's a problem. So this may take a few tries. But we've come to our first decision point. So the first hand that goes on is going to be the hour hand. So let's see, what do I have in the way of hands? I thought I had another set of hands here. I suppose I don't. Okay. So these are our hands. We have a few choices here. We have silver hour hands and minute hands, but then we have a choice of a silver or red second hand. And Dave, if you're watching, you're, I think, the only other person here right now, so you get to make that decision. I'm partial to the red, but I'd love to hear your input. Let me know in the chat what you think. And in the meantime, I'm going to start installing the hour hand. So I'm going to need a tool for that. And that would be this tool right here. This is a hand installing tool. Basically, it's a shaft that has a hole in the end, and the other end just has a different sized hole. And the idea is you can press down on the hand without pressing down on the shaft that you're putting them onto. Goram Dave says, I think silver and red are a nice contrast. I agree. I like silver and red. That's why I ordered the red hand. I'm glad you picked red, because that's the one I really wanted to put on there. I will also point out, they send you extra hands. You'll notice that there's 2 each in this package. And that is because you will screw up, and one will fly across the room, or you will scratch it, or you will, in some way, need a spare. In fact, on this kit that I built last year, you really can't see it unless you look very, very, very closely in the right light, but there is a scratch on the hour hand. And by the time I noticed that, I'd already got the minute and second hand on, and I was not about to take them off to fix that, so that scratch lives on for eternity. So let's see if I can get this opened up without any parts flying across the room. Come on. Just getting this bag open is a challenge. Mostly because it is the thinnest plastic known to man. I swear it's just plastic vapor. There we go. Okay, so I have in my tweezers here, and I mean, this just goes to show how tiny these parts are. I mean, just for scale, I don't really have anything handy for scale, but you can see just how teeny, 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 tiny these parts are, especially that hole in the middle that I need to somehow get on there without breaking or bending anything. The hour hand is the easiest of the 3, but it is still definitely a challenge to get positioned correctly. And just bear with me for 1 minute here. Apologies, I had to run into the other room briefly and get a tool. specifically a magnifying loupe so that I can actually see what I'm doing. All right, so let's get on with the installation. The first thing I'm going to do is I need to know that this is at midnight. Not so much critical for a non-date watch, but for a watch with a date. Let's go to just camera 2. For a watch with a date function, you do need to know where the hands are in relationship to the date. I don't have hands on there yet, so the only way to do that is to advance the time until the date changes over. So right now it's on the 23rd. Oh, there we go. It just clicked over to the 24th. That's near enough as matters to midnight. So now I know how the hands are orientated in relationship to the date function. I can start putting hands on. Oh, where did it go? There it is. Okay. All right. Okay, I've got that on there. And now I need my handy dandy hand setting tool. And oop, I felt it click. That's on there. Nice. And it's reasonably level. It's not going to it's not going to rub. This camera's auto white balance is kind of pissing me off. There we go. It's not going to rub as it goes around. It's reasonably level on the watch. So let's carry on with a minute hand. Oh, I also have a black second hand, so I could go silver, red, or black. If you think I should go black, let me know. I think I'm going to stick with the red, though. Let's get a minute hand out here. Uh-oh. There we go. Very, very fiddly, this. And now is where it gets tricky, because as you move up from the hour hand to the minute hand to the second hand, the little shaft that you need to get them on gets smaller and smaller, and much harder to see. So, apologies, this may not be the best viewing angle for you, but come on. Alright, that's not gonna work for me. I'm just gonna have to do it blind. Oh. Okay, I think it's resting in the right spot. Back to our handy hand setting tool. Okay. Alright, it's gonna rub. I need to level it a bit. You can use this tool to kind of gently reposition the hand as far as is it tilted too far down or too far up. You do have to be very, very careful not to bend the shaft. I know, that's what she said. Okay. There we go. I have a working hour and minute hand. That was what, I'm going to be honest, this is way easier the second time around. First time I did this, I had no end of trouble with it. I think it took me about an hour, all told, just to do the hands. All right, let's see here. We said the red second hand. Biggest challenge is getting it out of the baggie. Come on. I don't have anything to cut this with, so... Okay, and get in there. There we go. We're in the baggie. And I've got a red second hand in my tweezers. That's gonna look really, really cool. Alright. No exaggeration, the axle that this second hand needs to go on is somewhere in the neighborhood of a human hair in thickness. This is not going to be as easy as the other two, I'm afraid. The good news is it doesn't really matter the orientation of the second hand quite as much. You want it to be as close as possible to midnight. But at the end of the day, you're never going to notice that it's a teeny, teeny, tiny bit off. It doesn't matter so much for timekeeping, just as when the date changes over. And that's not even close to being positioned correctly. In fact, I'm going to try to do it like this. That might be easier. It is also super, super easy to bend this, and if I do, I'm never going to get it unbent again. So, trying to be just super careful in how I do this. Oh, did I knock? I knocked the minute hand loose. Guess I didn't have it on there properly. All right. And by the way, throughout this, feel free to ask any questions. I'm happy to answer them. In addition, if you're interested in this sort of thing, I highly recommend a YouTube channel called Wristwatch Revival. Basically, it is a gentleman who repairs broken or damaged or just neglected wristwatches. Kind of goes more in depth into the movement. Quite frankly, I have trouble seeing all of those tiny little pieces. So it's further than I would ever go with a watch. But very, very interesting if you're interested in how watches work, how they're repaired. Okay, let's give that a push. That sure is how it looks like it's on. All right, let me try this second hand again. Oh, I think that might have gotten it. It's so difficult to tell. I'm going to have to take a look at this under the magnifier. Apologies, I realize this doesn't look great on stream, but the last thing I want to do is put this watch together and then have the second hand fall off inside the watch. That would pretty much ruin my day. Alrighty. That appears to be, I'm calling that good. I think that's on there. I'm not sure which camera is going to pick it up better. But there we go. So that, again, was way easier the second time. And again, I have a puppy under my desk trying, ow, to chew on wires and bite my toes. Finnegan, you know better. You're not allowed under my desk. You can't go under there. It's too dangerous. There's too many wires for you to chew on. All right. Let's see. Okay, so with that in mind, no, that second hand is not happy. All right. Oh yeah, that's not on there. I completely screwed that up. All right, let's see here. Oh, that feels good. That feels like it's close. I realize the camera angles could be better for this, but kind of doing what I can with what I have here. And this is a little bit delicate, because if you bend the second hand shaft, you don't have a second hand. Is that on? Nope. How did I screw that up? So here's what it's doing. It's clearly not on the shaft correctly because it's just moving with the minute hand. All right, let's lift that off and let's make sure that the minute hand is... Yeah, that just came right off way too easily. Yeah, I'm not sure the minute hand is necessarily seated correctly. Although it does really look it, and it's working properly. God, this is almost impossible. I genuinely, there's probably someone out there that can do this in like 30 seconds. I'm sure of it. But it is such a tiny, tiny little. Very, very touchy, very delicate little deal. That it is almost impossible to do by hand. Yeah, you're probably going to see the top of my head in frame here. Just bear with me for a second. Okay. All right, let's see. Do we have success? No, we don't. Oh, this is. I'm starting to get frustrated. How have I managed to do that? And I think I've also put a little bit of a bend into it, so let's try to flatten it out. There we go. Oh, man. This is... You know what? I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to adjust my lighting here. Both A, so that I can see better, and B, so that maybe you'll get a better picture. Let's see here. There we go. That seems to be a little bit better. Try that. Okay. Focus. Come on. Focus. All right. So, see if I can get that second hand to stick down. The last time I built one of these, there was a moment where I thought, do I really need a second hand? But the answer, it turns out, is yeah, you kind of do. Because without a second hand, I mean, what's the point? Just wouldn't be the same. Come on. This is really starting to... All right, I'm happy with the hour hand. I'm happy with the minute hand. It's just this second hand that is absolutely killing me. Okay. And let's see. Oh! Hang on. Nope, that's still not on there. Is it just... Houston, I think we have a problem. because that is not... I heard it click into place, but it's dragging on the minute hand, which might mean the minute hand is not seated properly. So I'm going to see if I can get that second hand to come off. There we go. Alright, let's see if maybe the minute hand is just not... Oh, that minute hand is definitely seated properly. Alright, let's grab our second hand. Let's make sure I haven't bent it again. Okay, and see if we can get it to seat. This stream really should have just been called Sean Struggles with a Bunch of Tiny Things, and then throws them through the window. Come on. Oh. Nope. Why the hell is this? It's definitely... No, it's not. And unfortunately, this has now got a little bit of a bend to it. So let's see if I can unbend it. There we go. You know what? Just for grits and or shins. No, that's the same second hand, right? Yeah. Like, there's no way that I ordered the wrong second hand, is there? I can't imagine I would have. Just for grins, I'm going to put this second hand on there and make sure that I'm not being an idiot. Let me also make sure I haven't bent anything, because that is a distinct possibility. I could have just screwed this watch up. Nope. Definitely not bent. Okay, now is this right side up or upside down? Okay, so that's the top. That's the bottom. That's right ways up. Amazingly, I've managed to not scratch any of these hands yet. That's always an accomplishment. Oh, nope, come on. Yeah, see? There we go. Let's... Oh, that feels like it's kind of wanting to go on. No, it came off. And I put a little bit of a bend into it. Wonderful. Can I get that out? No, I've put a bend into it that I cannot. Well, hang on. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's reasonable. I'm really only installing this one to see if it works in place of the red one, because I'm wondering if I ordered the wrong red second hand. There are two different movements for these watches, and it's possible that I ordered one for a Seiko movement instead of a Miyota. I don't think I did. I was very careful not to, but dumber things have happened. So it's certainly not impossible. And if that's the case, then for now it's going to have a silver second hand, and one of these days I crack it open and put the correct red one in. Which would be kind of a shame, because I was looking forward to having the red one, but honestly, I will live with it for now, if this turns out to be the fix. If I can even get the darn thing on there. Come on. Nope, that's definitely the right way. I'm going to start cussing soon. Oh. Narg! Oh, whoops, that's the wrong camera. Okay. When I said earlier that it's really difficult putting one of these kits together, this is the really difficult part. I still highly recommend this. I'm having fun, and you do get a nice little memory of the experience at the end. But, whew, man, the journey. All right, let's see if I can get this. And looking at, let's see, what time is it even? We've been at this for almost an hour. And we've made decent progress. I'm not disappointed in the progress that I've made. But I think this might have to be a two-part stream. If it weren't for the fact that I have a 4-month-old puppy, I would just burn through all night. But I do have a 4-month-old puppy, and he, well, let's just say he could use some attention fairly shortly. So I think this might become a two-parter, in which case we'll probably pick it up next weekend. But let's hold off on calling it for just yet. I've bent the crap out of this second hand. Thankfully, I've got second hands out the wazoo. I'm going to set this one aside in the pile of bent hands. And I'm going to open up the spare. Do I want the spare, or do I want to try one of the black ones? I'm going to try one of the black ones, because that could also be a good look. And this way I still have one each of the others. So it's another, I don't want to say freebie, but I'm not going to lose anything if I screw it up. Oh, that, I just felt that totally, and I've lost it. Oh, come on, get on there. come on, get on there. Oh, no. I hope I didn't just break something. I did not break anything. The second wheel shaft is unbent, but I did not successfully attach that second hand. And it just flew across my desk. And my desk is black and the hand is black. So I'll probably find that in 5 years when I'm cleaning my desk up again. Nope, that's my spare red hand. All right. Everyone that has tuned in, I want to thank you all for tuning in. But I think due to some puppy-related needs and the fact that I'm starting to get frustrated, I think we're going to call it after an hour. We are definitely going to revisit this. Keep an eye out on whatever Discord or Slack channel you saw this in. And I will be sure to let you know when the next one is going to be live. It will probably be next weekend. It will definitely not be tomorrow. It will probably be next weekend. I'm going to set this aside. I'm not going to touch it until then. So you can join me next time. I hope you will. I hope you enjoyed everything that we were doing thus far with this. I do want to remind you of two things. One, we do have a discount code for DIY Watch Club if you want to order one of these kits. And they're not inexpensive, but they're not crazy expensive either. There is a 10% off code that you can use. Use code WELCOMEABOARD at checkout for 10% off. And also, I do have my own Discord. You can either go to that URL or scan that QR code, and you will not miss out on any of my streaming announcements. Most of my streams are going to be video game related, but in this particular case, we're doing something a little bit special. As I said, tune in to whatever it is that you saw the announcement for this on, and you will definitely see the announcement for my next stream. And I will catch you all next time. Thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate your support, and I do hope you'll join me for part 2. And I'm going to go take my puppy for a walk because let's just say the smells coming out of him are indicating that he needs to go out, and leave it at that. I can leave it up to your imagination as to what that means.